Spanning 3 centuries, the Vodacom Durban July is a race that has stood the test of time. Such is the nature and significance of this wonderful race that every breeder, owner, trainer and jockey dreams of winning it. Very few do, but the odds do nothing to dampen the burning desire. It is, after all, a race that encompasses all the history that is thoroughbred racing in South Africa. In 1897, the race that was to later become known as the Durban July was first run over 1,600 meters for a stake of 500 sovereigns. Just 7 mediocre horses lined up, and bar 1908, which also saw a small field, the race grew both in size and popularity. Fred McGrath was the youngest jockey ever to win the race, who at just 12 years old and still an apprentice, guided Collet to victory in 1922. In 1949, Tiger Wright stamped his authority. He rode 5 winners from his 9 engagements on the day, including the July on Malicia Pride. 1952 saw the construction of the subway, with the race run over it for the first time.
As Mazarin galloped like a powerhouse.
The race attracted sponsorship from Rothmans of Pall Mall in 1963. The date was marked with a win by the legendary Colorado King, the first of 6 winners for trainer Sid Laird. Colorado King was held in such high regard that, carrying the hopes of a nation, he was exported to the United States, where he won the 1964 Hollywood Gold Cup, setting a new record over 9 furlongs. Prize money was boosted as the race grew in popularity, bringing with it increased rivalry in racing circles. Although this added to the excitement and thrill of the race, it also unfortunately exposed a darker side, resulting in the tragic shooting of 1966 race favourite Cottage. It is without a doubt the incident most associated with the Durban July and still spoken about today. Whilst returning from a beach workout on Friday the 10th of June, 3 weeks prior to the race, Cottage was shot in the right flank by gunman Johnny Nell. He was hiding in a concrete shelter on the bridge crossing the Umgeni River. What isn't common knowledge is that Cottage made a remarkable recovery and still took up his place as race favourite come July Day. He ran on gamely for 4th, behind stable companion Java Head. Interestingly, the offending bullet was never found, despite 3 attempts using X-rays to locate it. As for Johnny Nell, well, he was subsequently arrested, convicted, and sentenced to 6 years imprisonment, 3 of which were suspended. The story does have a happy ending, as the following year, in what has been described as arguably the most thrilling and emotional finish ever in a Durban July, the gallant Cottage dead heated with Jollify to share race honours. It was the first dead heat in the history of the race, and a remarkable comeback for Cottage. The last of Sid Laird's remarkable July winners was with the mighty Politician in 1978.
It was Sid's 7th July win and Bertie's 3rd. They featured in so many of these films that they're being forced to join the Actors Union. And the next 3 jackpot legs jump for joy.
The 1980s marked the dawn of a new era, with Cape-based trainer Terrence Millard dominating the race. In 1986, he trained the first 3 past the post, namely Occult, Fool's Home and Enchanted Garden. 4 years later, in 1990, he did it again with Illustrador, Olympic Duel and Jungle Warrior. This was a remarkable achievement in a Grade 1 event, not only in South African racing, but worldwide. Millard is the only trainer to have challenged Sid Laird's record, with 6 wins to his name, 3 of them being recorded as a hat-trick from 1988 to 1990. 2000 brought with it changes, as after 38 years of sponsorship, Rothmans reluctantly ended its association with the race. New tobacco laws were promulgated in the country, putting an end to the longest-running sponsorship of a major sporting event. However, just 2 years later, Vodacom announced its backing of the great race. The date went down in history as the day Ipitombi, the sensational 3-year-old filly from Zimbabwe, rewrote the record books, as she was the first filly of her age to win since Migraine 45 years earlier in 1957. 2004 marked 10 years of democracy in South Africa. It was in 1994 that the ANC, under the leadership of Nelson Mandela, came into power. In celebration of this historical moment, number 10 on the card, Gray's Inn, not only carried the South African flag on his saddlecloth, but also carried it to victory. 2013 saw the race won by Heavy Metal, partnered to victory by Simanga Khumalo. He made history himself by being the first black jockey to ever win a Durban July. Over the years, jockeys who have enjoyed the most success in the race, having ridden 4 winners each, are Tiger Wright, Anton Marcus and Anthony Delpeche. The Durban July is a race that never fails to produce competition at the highest level, great sporting achievements and moments to savour for a lifetime. It is said that it takes a lot of history to create just a little tradition. However, this flagship race, Africa's greatest horse race, has not only become a proud tradition, but an integral part of South Africa's sporting and cultural history.